kind of wanted to open the floor, excuse me, and see if there's any products that someone is really interested in talking about. I know there's only 4 people on here right now, but I know especially the ones that are currently being really talked about inflammation. I think it's a really good place to start. So overall, I mean, most of our products really target that underlying inflammatory process in our body. And one of the ways to really get your point across to people is to, is to really talk about how our bodies are in a constant state of inflammation. And if you want to see change, you have to change yourself from the inside out. And that's really what our products do. So of course the triplex, amazing in that the 3 of them really work together to now with the new configuration of Slim with the prebiotic kind of seed and weed and then kind of move it out. So I won't really talk so much about the triplex because I did last time, unless someone has questions, just like bust in. But I did want to talk a little bit about block because I know this year we kept seeing more things about block and how it really can affect inflammation and how people were taking it differently than kind of had taken it before. And just want to touch base on why that is. So when we talk about block, I mean, we're talking about curbing our sugar and carb intake. So looking at, again, excess glucose in our body, which causes inflammation, which makes us feel yucky. And what that block can do at this point, one, you can take it before your carb-laden meals or whatever, but you can also take it at night before you go to bed. I would say, here's the thing. If you take your probiotic before you hit the sheets, you should take your block a little bit before. And the reason why I say that is because your probiotic is working to just break things down, break. So you want to give it a chance to be in your system by itself, working while you're resting. And that's why it's, take it at night. But with block, you could take it, I mean, before your biggest meal. Lots of us have our biggest meal at night, and it should be the opposite. We should eat the heaviest meal in the morning, lighter meal at lunch, and then eat like just a small meal at dinner, but we don't. It's because we're busy during the day, we're running, and so when we finally sit down with our families, we end up spending a lot more time eating and filling our bodies than we should. So you could take the block before dinner, and what it's doing is it's curbing those sugar and carb intake cravings, but it's also breaking down and neutralizing in order to decrease the glycemic index. So again, we talked about that spiking up and down of blood sugars and how this is bad for our body. It keeps us in that constant state of inflammation. And so what block can do is it helps to neutralize those amino acids in our bodies that help break down glucose. So again, we're going back to what I started off with, is that constant state of inflammation. So if you are only taking block, say at your biggest meal, you could think about taking it after dinner as well, and you may see a change in the inflammatory process. I think what's hard is we don't really always know what our symptoms are until they're gone. And that's really sad because we always feel like, oh, well, it's what I ate or I didn't get enough sleep. But really, it's the way we are, we're in a constant state of inflammation, and it's at a cellular level. So that's the brown seaweed blend, the chromium, and the white kidney bean in the block that does that. So 2 times a day, usually with your largest carbo-laden meal. The other 2 can be taken, in the evening. What I found is that people either really, really like block, or like my mom says, oh, it makes my stomach feel bad. When we changed the capsule and you can take it, right with your meal versus the 30 minutes before, she doesn't have those complaints anymore, which is really nice. So that's one thing that that's one thing about the new formulation of the capsule itself. Excuse me, that really made a big difference, at least in the people that I was encouraging to use block. And I'll just throw it out there. Anybody have any questions about block? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Also another product that came out this year, which I didn't originally, or I guess last year, sorry, I didn't originally get to partake in until after I was done really breastfeeding, and that's Edge. And honestly, if you know someone who is drinking 5-hour energies or Red Bulls or Monsters, and they're like, oh, I don't know about that supplement, man, they are making the wrong decision. And that sounds really blunt, but it's true. There are so many chemicals in those drinks that that Edge just is an all-natural, long-lasting form of energy. And when I could start taking it, man, I was a different person. I don't drink coffee unless I drink it just for the warmth or just the taste. Tastes good, makes me feel good, but I never really needed coffee to stay awake. I never used it that way, but I like to take my Edge like mid-morning and or right about lunchtime, because I kind of find myself when I do my slim first thing in the morning, later in the evening I'm kind of feeling sluggish, but the Edge really pushes you through that. Plus there's no jitters, it's all natural. And people always say, oh, well, it's a natural form of caffeine, so it's the same thing. It's really not, especially if we're talking about energy drinks. But if we're talking about coffee's okay. If you do, 1-2 cups of coffee a day, great. I mean, it's known to have long-lasting effects if you're drinking the right kind of coffee. It's part of the Mediterranean diet. A lot of cardiologists say that 1 or 2 cups of caffeine is just fine for your body. And so anyway, back to Edge. So increasing energy, no jitters, all natural. My brother was a 5-hour energy popper, and he switched to Edge. And not only is he saving himself a ton of money, he's also noticing a lot of things. He's sleeping better. He's more focused. And I like to use comparisons for people that are using them, especially my family, because I hear, oh, I'm feeling better. He bought okay, I'm going to get this number wrong, at least 17 pillows in 1 year, because he thought that it was his neck, his back, he couldn't sleep, started the products and, is sleeping like a baby. So anyway, with the Edge, we're talking more about a natural form. So when people are like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to put that on my body, it's, it's a pill or it's a supplement, and then I turn around and watch them drink 5-hour energy, I'm like, oh, which one's worse? Obviously what you're drinking, because it has tons of chemicals in it. What I'm offering is all natural. And the Cafe Robusta, is also helps with appetite suppressant, so that's an additive as well. So a lot of the things that we've heard over the years about green tea and how it helps provide energy, how it helps with metabolism, all those things are built into a lot of our products. So it's just an additive factor, characteristic of that particular product that I like. So healthy, sustained energy, increased mental focus, better night's sleep, no jitters, none of that crazy crap that probably is what's going to cause, third eyes at some time in our life. But anyway, so then the third one I'll talk about is Accelerator. And really this year I was noticing a plateau. And so I'd taken Accelerator before, but I wasn't really paying attention to how and why I was taking it. And really it is just a fat burner. And I like to start my workouts with it. Some people like to start their workouts with Boost. I like to start mine with Accelerator. helps burn fat more efficiently. We're talking more about that 5-HTP, which is a natural occurring amino acid, which increases the production of serotonin. Serotonin makes us feel good. It can also help as an appetite suppressant. So long term, I mean, obviously Accelerator helps burn fat. We're looking at, appetite suppressant throughout the day. I noticed a big difference. I just tried on some pants that are about an inch too big on one side, and was happy about that. I hadn't really been paying attention, but I know in the last 5 months I've really done Accelerator. Now, I really encourage people to try Accelerator to kind of meet their goals and then see about bumping back. It's not something that you should take all the time, but it does help kind of boost that fat burning. So, I may be on it for a couple of months and I take a break and then try it again. But overall, it's a good way for someone to add to, say, their triplex system if they're looking for weight loss. But I also encourage them that if they're going to take that they need to have an active lifestyle. So they need to be in some type of, walking program or exercise or weightlifting. I say weightlifting, I mean strength training. Sorry guys, if you just came on, I have a raging sinus infection that I'm trying to get over. So, does anybody have questions about Accelerator? Okay. The other one that I really wanted to talk about was ease. Again, going back to that inflammation. So we're talking about the New Zealand green-lipped mussel and how it really affects reducing inflammation. And I've been watching some people really add it to their regime and taking up to 6 a day and seeing a really big change. Sorry, guys. So our bodies are in a state of, a lot of the healthiest diets still have issues with yeast overgrowth, candida, things like that. And so adding ease can kind of help boost that reduction in inflammation. So I really like ease. I've started taking it. Sorry, guys. Greater this time around. And I say this time around is because I did back off on a lot of my products while I was pregnant. Not the triplex. I was really, really good about the triplex, and I know that really helped while I was pregnant. But the inflammation process is great in my body because I already have an autoimmune disease. So that imbalance can kind of really be helped by ease and the New England green-lipped mussel. So I want to talk a little bit about probiotic because lots of times if someone's hesitant to start products, I really try to talk to them about ProBio 5 because it really is the only product on the market there's nothing like it. So when we talk about ProBio 5, I really like to talk about how it breaks down yeast and how yeast is almost like, it has almost like a shell of a cockroach. And when you smash a cockroach, it's really hard to penetrate its shell. And so the chitinase in our product, that enzyme, helps to break that down. And a lot of probiotics don't have that. They also don't have the antifungal, which is crazy to me because a lot of the products that are out on the market, really say that they can target really an unhealthy gut and provide it, healthy bacteria and things like that. And it's really not. One is because our product is stable at room temperature, so it starts working as soon as it hits your gut. It has the enzymes and the antifungal, which help break down the yeast and candida, which we sometimes are so quick to be like, oh, well, it's good for good bacteria, bad for bad bacteria. But really, that yeast overgrowth is about, 90% of our 21st century chronic diseases. So I like to say the walking diseases, the ones that people are like, oh, I have psoriasis, or oh, I have fibromyalgia, and it's chronic, but I'm doing better. Those types of things are things that I reach out to people and say, hey, are you on a probiotic? And they'll say, yeah, they are. And I'll say, well, would you, give mine a try for 60 days? I promise you're going to see a change. You're probably going to have die-off because what you're taking now isn't going to do, what you are going to see in mine, in ours, I guess. I always say mine, but so working to keep that intestinal yeast in balance, working to break down the bad bacteria, working to build up good bacteria. So we have a lot of microbes in our gut when we're born, but we tend to lose that microbiome as we age, and that's because of our Western diet, over-the-counter medications, chemicals, hormones in our food, so on and so forth. And so really the probiotic supports that good digestion. So that's why you hear so many people say, oh my gosh, with the triplex, it really healed my gut. I didn't have the same issues I was having before, so on and so forth. And that's really because our guts are so unhealthy that once you start seeing the healthy changes, that you're not, once you see those healthy changes, you know that what you were taking before wasn't working as it should, like ours does. So plus the combination of the citrus also helps as well. So you've got that vitamin C, B6 proprietary blends, which is really great because that also helps, add to that as well. So I really am encouraging people to start the triplex system, obviously, but add the VitaBiome. And if they're not taking a multivitamin, to add in the X Factor or the Mega or the X Factor Plus. I really like our plant-based sterol, which the Mega X, and that's because anyone over 30 should be taking a omega. It's because we put so much stress on our heart with the things that we do to our bodies with food, lack of exercise, overeating, undereating, not hydrating ourselves. We're putting stress on our cells at our bodies at a cellular level. And so, doing the plant-based sterol can be a really big change for people who weren't ever really able to break down that omega fatty acid from, say, fish oil, because our bodies aren't really made to break down processed fish oil. And again, it's because most of them are farmed, and the hormones that they get are added into those omegas. And so when Plexus came out with the Mega X, it was a really good opportunity for me to, who I'd been telling all the time, all my clients, you need to take a omega. Hey, by the way, that fishy burp that you hated from the previous one that most physicians tell you to put in the freezer so that it doesn't give you those fishy burps, isn't really being absorbed in your body. So the plant-based omega is a really great additive. It's kind of hard to throw all the products on someone at once, so really asking them what their goals are can make a big difference. So I really try to ask that in our first meeting after they say they're interested. I just want to touch base on the ones I'm really comfortable with and the ones that I really do encourage my clients or friends or family to use. Don't get me wrong. People use some for ever, and some people try them and they don't like them, or they try them and don't use them right, and then we're talking about it 6 months later, and they're trying to, use product again. But overall, I think if you just go in it as a anti-inflammatory process, I think people are hearing that a lot more. Also talking about your gut and your microbiome, which is really popular right now, especially with physicians, especially cardiologists, which is kind of weird in the long run, just because they were the ones to really push over-the-counter vitamins and fish oils and things like that. And now they're kind of stepping back and saying, well, maybe it's really our gut that needs to be healed versus throwing all these medications and pills at people. So maybe at one point in time in our lives, which I'm sure will happen soon, we're going to see Plexus products being prescribed more for individuals. Anyway, I've got about 8 minutes left. I know some people had some product questions. I got some texts this week. I'll just touch base on one of them. Anytime someone's taking a medication for thyroid, they really need to space their products about 2 to 3 hours after. Mostly more the Slim. And that's just because the interaction with the chromium and the thyroid medication. So I think that was Brooke's question. And Carly, I'm still working on your questions, so don't let me forget. But it's just been a long week. So any questions? Sorry, you guys had to listen to 10 minutes of coughing.
No, I'm going to unmute everybody just in case anybody does have any questions. No, I think this is such a wealth of knowledge for everyone, and appreciate your time so much. And I know that with every product that comes out, there's going to be new questions, and even ones that, where you kind of mix it up and differentiate of where you take the timing of the products and on certain medications. But this is really, really helpful.
I do have a question.
Oh.
Okay.
You were saying about taking Slim in the morning and then the Edge midday. Why do you do it that way instead of reverse?
Okay, I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry, Annette.
The Slim, you said you take it in the morning and then the Edge at midday. I wonder why you don't do it reverse.
Because I've noticed that my Slim, when I take my Slim 30 minutes before breakfast, I don't have as much sugar and carb cravings in the middle of the day. So mine was like a 1:30 to 2:30, because the women I work with eat at 11:30 in the morning. And so I was noticing that my carb cravings were between 1:30 and 2:30. So if I'm really good about my Slim, I don't have those carb cravings. And it might be just an additive appetite suppressant, coming from the Edge as well. But that's kind of how it works for me. I mean, I know some people take their Slim later in the morning and their Edge first thing in the morning. I feel like I'm pretty clear in the morning. I feel like my evenings and late evenings are rough. So that's why I pushed the Edge back.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Lisa, did you have one too?
Yeah, so I tried Accelerator first run when I started 2 years ago, and it made me so jittery, and I felt like my heart was gonna pop out of my chest. So what would be in there that would make that happen? Because of that, I have a hard time recommending that to anybody, because I feel like I'm a little cautious about it.
Sure. Okay, so it does kick your metabolism into working. So some people may have those jitters.
Okay.
It's the increase in serotonin. That's why you get those jitters. So you might just be more affected by the Accelerator. You might try just taking one.
Okay.
And see if it gives you that same jittery feeling.
And I wasn't working out at the time. So
okay.
I heard you say that. I'm like, oh, well, maybe that was why I was not using any of it up. Right.
So, the way it should work is that you take it, you exercise, you burn more fat.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if you're just a little bit more sensitive to the product itself. I mean, it does have the 5-HTP, which, shares similar to ephedrine. So that might be it. I'm going to try 1 and then, build up to 2.
Okay.
Have you used Boost?
No, I didn't try that. I guess I got a little scared about any of them. So I was like, I'll just stick to the 5.
So it might be that 5-HTP that really kind of just pushes you over that jittery feeling.
Is that also in Boost or no?
It's not. No. It's only an accelerator.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Oh, we're like 4 minutes, and we're not going to get cut off. You're not going to see me go black.
Ericka, we actually have unlimited Zoom, so you could talk for like another hour if you want.
Oh, great. Okay.
But I think Carly has a question.
Yeah.
Yes. So with BioCleanse, I missed the first few minutes, so you may have already gone over this. And I know sorry, my cat's going crazy. I know you really recommend the warm water with lemon in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Are you against taking BioCleanse first thing in the morning? No. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because sometimes that's the only way I get both in if I've been forgetting.
Sure. So here's my thought process behind the warm water with lemon. And it goes back to that Mediterranean kind of based diet, is that we should really be fasting for about 10 hours. So we've given that probiotic 10 hours to work. So it's broken down all of that crap. And then our liver and our kidneys have also metabolized everything from kind of that day. And so when we get up first thing in the morning, the hot water with lemon helps cleanse that. It's very similar to, the BioCleanse magnesium-wise, but the first thing you should put in your body is water. So if you're going to, drink like 8 ounces of water, give it 20 minutes, and then take your BioCleanse in the morning. But you do want to kind of flush your body with a little bit of water because it's been fasting. So that's why I suggest it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
So I've recorded this, Ericka, so I'll post this on our team page, but cannot thank you enough. And I always tell everyone how lucky we are to have you and your knowledge, because it's just, not only do you know so much about the products, but the science behind it is just remarkable. So thank you.
Oh yeah, you bet. Well, hopefully this will be the first and last time in a long time that I have to be on an antibiotic, because I'm going to have to bump up my probiotic to like 4 a day. Oh man. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Sometimes it renews my, just my belief in the products to talk about them. Sometimes you don't always get to talk about every single one every day to everybody. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and feel better.
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.